Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and invite our guest. Today is the last day. Oh, there she is. There she
Hi.
comes.
How are you?
I'm well. I don't see you yet. Do you see me?
Yeah, I see you. You don't see me yet?
I do not. Oh, my goodness. Instagram really be playing all the time.
Oh no.
I mean, we
Let
just
me
gonna
see.
keep it going but I don't see you, babe. But I hear you. I would love your energy though. Let's see what's going on.
Um,
Oh my goodness. I hate when they do like they have literally and people are joining, so we're not gonna not, you know, we're gonna just keep it going.
okay. Perfect. I can see you though, but I don't know if you can see me, so.
I cannot, but I'm sure everybody else. Can you guys see us both? People are joining, so I know that girl Meg. I know that's right. Can you see her though? Can you see Meg on the screen? Because Instagram is playing in my face. So I just want to know if everybody else can see her. I haven't gotten a yes yet, but let's see what they saying. How are you today?
I am good. Doing really well. So excited for our meeting,
I
our interview
know.
podcast.
I'm
Oh, they can see both of us? Yeah.
okay. Well, that's really all that matters. Literally, that's all that matters.
Awesome.
Oh my God, your biggest fan. We love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so happy to have you on.
So
You
happy.
know, we got to do some catching up. We got to do some, getting all in your amazing business, all the things that you have working on. But do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Awesome. Yes. So I am, everyone knows me by Meg, right? All of my close friends, but my name is Morgan Shuler. I am Chief Technology Officer of four tech companies. And
Crazy.
it it is a lot. And then I also do some senior consulting work on the side, helping other businesses. So that is something that I do. Um, Yeah, in tech, software development. My companies, we build software. We specialize in generative AI and machine learning
Ooh.
models, and basically that whole AI umbrella we kind of just fall under. Even though it's very new, we've kind of started when it first was a little bit like a new wave with the generative AI. You can start asking questions and it'll generate answers, generating that general type of logic.
Mm-hmm.
But we've matured a lot, and now we're able to kind of start making all of the decision trees and getting into the different modeling languages for machine learning. So it's very exciting to see the growth. I've been in the tech space honestly my whole life. Started off as a front end developer,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then kind of shifted from there in more of like leadership roles, uh, enjoying teams, being on different teams, running teams. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of just been like always a thing.
Always
Um,
the thing.
always a thing. And then sometimes you get pushed into full-time leadership, especially when you realize that sometimes you're in certain situations so you can grow. But yeah, now I am here. And I am a Forbes technology member. I'm in the Forbes Tech Council.
Hello.
What I do is provide thought leadership for emerging technologies in our society today, kind of give advice and feedback on, all the emerging trends with AI being a big one, and then like
Ooh, ooh,
blockchain, all the Web3 stuff. So yeah, that is my day to day. Samela, be patient with me on
I,
this podcast because
I'm
my day,
loving it.
my brain may have to go and find it, but I got your answer.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I get it. I get it because when you're working on so many amazing things, you kind of have to compartmentalize like what's happening. But that does not mean that it's inauthentic. So I feel it. I absolutely feel it, and that's one of the things that I'm excited for us to like dive into because
Exactly.
most of the time. we see people and they think it's this thing called stay in your lane, right? And so I like to think of the idea of staying in your lane as in staying in your direction, like going in your direction. But on the expressway, there's multiple lanes. So don't try to put me in one lane and think I'm going to do one thing. As long as I'm going in the right direction of my things, that's all that matters. And that's what you're doing. And that's why you have so many amazing things going on. And then, the better you get at it, the better you delegate, the better you could take on new projects. And it's time management. So I get it. I'm excited. I'm excited to dive all
You
into it.
definitely get it. Oh my gosh. So yes, it is very complex work. Um, you know, it is very, very complex work. So
But guess what?
yes.
You make it look easy. You make it look easy.
Yeah, yeah. This is I'm new to this stuff. You make this look easy. The content, like I have the tech figured out. I do not have social media figured out. I don't have the content figured out. I think that is where I lack. I don't. Yeah, I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot that I needed to post. I have a ton of stuff. I just like, oh, promote that, or
Mm-hmm.
mark, oh, I forgot I had, think about doing that. And then even when I
Mm-hmm.
think about it and I get the team ready to do it, it's always a problem. We got to go put out fires elsewhere. I don't need
Absolutely.
that. Kind of gets, it's not priority. So
But that's
yeah.
a blessing because so it wasn't something I was looking for either, and we'll touch that in a second. I wasn't looking for that at all. But it's a blessing because you can still run, manage, and build businesses that people are coming to look for you in it and not
Hmm.
even have like a really deep social media.
Yes,
That is a blessing in itself because it speaks to the quality, and it speaks to your audience, and it speaks to like repeat business, right? Because nobody's building businesses that nobody is buying from. So clearly you have something figured out because you're doing it, and you're doing it right. And so as it relates to me, social media was not something that I was even remotely. I was just like, oh, it looks cute. I see people doing it. And if I had to guess, I would say maybe like 3 years ago, God was like tapping me on my shoulder. And one thing he specifically said is, I did not give you all of this information so that you can keep it in this wisdom so that you can keep it between you and your little seven friends.
exactly.
And I was like, okay. And so it took me a little bit to even just say, okay, I'm gonna turn on the camera. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the camera. And today I turn on the camera, not worried about the views, the likes, because people think that you're overnight success, but really the night lasted a long time. 12 years, 10 years, 7 years before they even discovered you. So it's not for the likes more
Exactly.
than it is for just this is practice, right? Like turning on the camera is practice so that when
It
you are in
is
the room,
practice. It is
and so that's
so
all.
practice. Wow, that is actually a testament to just like almost how it is, because honestly, for the online, getting on camera, pushing out content, that is a lot. That takes like a lot of strength to do. Especially me. I've actually started out behind the computer, shy. I don't want to
Hmm.
go in public.
Hmm.
So to even do that, I'm more of like a in person type of person.
Hmm.
Like you said, I have a outside of online, which I'm trying to grow. I have a huge network. And a lot of these people are
Amazing.
older. They don't even know how to use social media. So they're trying to transform their technologies they've been investing in since like the 90s and 2000s. They don't even understand social media like that. So it's like, how do you kind of still promote, not really so much promote yourself, but still share your expertise, also in a way where you feel like you're comfortable with your own voice. And that's just something that
Hmm.
I'm learning.
Hmm.
And I'm learning how to get in that space. Like I've been offered keynotes. I denied. Like, oh, can you not
What?
yet? There's a perfect time for
Look,
everything.
let me look at your face. I'm so mad that they're playing with me and I can't look at your face. But what?
Oh
What?
my gosh, you still can't see me, Samela.
No, but I'm in your energy. I'm hearing your
That is
voice,
so
and so.
awesome. Okay, so basically, yeah, I'm there are certain spaces you got to be prepared, and I feel like a lot of times you'll meet certain people, and then certain interactions, certain opportunities come where it prep you for that opportunity. It is so good for me to see. Like, I love seeing your content. I like it, inspires me. Like, when I watch your content, I'm like, she's, you know what, Smella is Smella. This is her journey. Like, I understand it. You know what I'm
Thank
saying? But to
you.
have that connection with that, and then like the outside world is very noisy.
It is.
For me, at least, I have to learn to quiet that
Yeah.
so that I can hone in on my thoughts of like,
Mhm.
okay, this is how I'm going to connect, or this is how I'm going to share how my journey is. I have not yet nailed that part or gotten intimate or comfortable in that space. So I think I'm just, girl, you are like the blueprint right now. You need to
Oh my
drop an
God.
ebook or something so I can purchase, figure out how I can, builds online confidence, like getting out there, speaking confidence. Like, that's a big thing. I'm
It,
confident in what I know and making solutions for technology. And yeah, you bring me in the room, you got something hard to do, I'll stare at it for like a long time, show me your back end architecture, I can tell you what to do. But like, connecting and saying, okay, this is me, and this is, the rough things of the side of tech, and this is
right.
like it's how, building your startup, and especially if you're a bootstrap
Mhm.
founder and you're
Mhm.
just trying to make it to the next quarter, with funding and just trying to get new features out and do certain things and build your application. I think those things is important for people to see, because people think like, oh, it's so perfect, and
Mhm.
it's overnight, and it's not.
Mhm.
You don't see those moments, but people who show those moments, I think that is the bravest, best thing to do. I think it helps keep social media more authentic, because at one point it was so fake. Like,
Oh
nobody
my
really,
God.
like,
Fact.
people weren't living out.
Fact.
Like they weren't really in it like that. So I think now it's like the best time. People are being more authentic. People are stepping out, doing their things, being confident in that, and sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I'm excited because I just want to speak life into you just so you already know. Because you know it already, but sometimes we just have to like
Hmm.
hear somebody else say it. But you have everything. Um, First of all, just like we're just gonna go down the list. We're here now. Look, first of all, you're beautiful inside and out. So you got
Thank
that.
you.
You know your stuff. You can speak about it. You are ready. You were already ready. You just have to tell yourself that you're ready. The most difficult part about saying, I'm going to turn on the camera, is literally making sure my hair looked like some type of way.
I know that's
Like,
right.
making sure I don't look a mess. That is the most difficult part because you already know what you're talking about. You are actively doing it. You are actively a person who people need to see. They need to see you. They need to see what you have going on, how you make it look easy, and how it's not easy, but how it is possible, right? Like, because that, to
Right.
your point, social media is very, they don't tell the full story. And I'm not
Yeah,
really into like playing games like that because
exactly.
don't, don't, don't do that. It's not setting people up for success. And so
Mm-hmm.
being able to tell the accurate part of the story that feels authentic to you is going to change so many lives. And one of the reasons, like I told you, where I was just like, okay, I'm not going to keep fighting because, you say, oh, I don't like my voice. I don't like this. I don't want to do this. What about
Mm-hmm.
this? What about my background? Blah, 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 blah. These are all excuses that, um, is put in the position so that you don't show up in your position. But people need to know that someone like you is talking AI, is building AI, is building companies, is a mother, is doing these things and make it look easy. Like they need to know that there are decision makers that look just like them in roles. And so part of doing it is literally like, this land, like somebody, is this for somebody? God put it on my heart. It's for somebody. I don't know who it's for. It could just be me saying it out loud so I can get it off my chest, but it's for somebody. And then, once you start getting text messages and like DMs and people saying, you know what, Meg, I am so happy that you did this. Oh my God, I didn't even know that's how AI works. Meg, I didn't even realize that my company needed to do this. Can you help me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You become a relatable source. So, We're going to do a call. Me and you. We're going to do a call and we're going to get you ready so that you can start turning on your camera.
Girl, get me ready, girl.
We
Get
don't,
me
we,
ready.
because you got everything else. You got everything else. You are doing it. And that's what I want. I want to dive into all of the beautiful things. Okay. So you have four tech. Okay. Before we jump into the four tech companies,
Okay.
I want to know how you even got into tech. Like, what did you say? You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. Like, tell us how that started.
Good question. So that started when I was a little girl and back in those MySpace days, you had your top eight. But for those who are like really active on MySpace, they'll probably know about this. But you know how you used to change your profiles?
Okay.
You could change like your profile. A lot of people didn't know back in that day, they were actually making a lot of social media, making us smarter in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because that was HTML and CSS. To do your profile, to change the cursors, you are hyperlinking, you are already learning those basic core programming principles. So I
Mm.
started there and I did that for like ever, like until my space shut down. And then I don't know if anyone remembers like Angel Fire, right? There was Angel Fire. It was like a
I don't.
blog. You don't remember Angel Fire?
I
It was
don't.
almost like you could blog, but it also had like capabilities where you could customize and do different things. I've always been on the computer. I've always been very savvy in tech. My
Mm-hmm.
uncle was actually one of the tech engineers for the Texas Instrument Calculator.
Okay.
So yeah, he was involved in creating it and putting
Wow.
a patent, getting a patent done for it. So I've kind of always been technically inclined, very intelligent in math, science, but later in life, of course, I had my glow up. So yeah, I
Hello.
was a nerd. I was animate out. I was nerdy, like, but in that time it wasn't as cool as it was today to
Mm-hmm.
be on the computer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of where I started in tech. And from there, I've always been self-taught. And I left, of course, my space is done, other customizations, moving over to like WordPress, open source,
Okay.
and then also just using Visual Studio Code, learning for myself, taking on little practice projects when I was like a teenager.
So good.
So it's kind of just always been a love for tech, a love for web programming, web development. Now, the other things came in, less like heavy software development, like enterprise structures,
Mm-hmm.
internal infrastructure type of
Mm-hmm.
software. That came into play. I used to go to college. I actually this may inspire someone. I don't
Yes.
have a degree. I don't have a degree.
Yes.
I don't
Tell us
have a
that.
batch. I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
bachelor's. As a matter of fact, I went to school for software engineering. I didn't get to finish
Okay.
because my husband got cancer.
Okay.
And I had
So
yeah, he passed a couple years ago. I actually had to like drop
sorry to
out.
hear that.
Yeah, I dropped out a few times during as he was fighting it, going through it to be there for my family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then turning that school mindset off. But I've always been learning on my own. Like you don't need school to learn programming. You
Mm-hmm.
really don't. You can go
Mm-hmm.
on like w3schools.com, .net. You can learn
Literally.
how to code there. You can learn how to code on YouTube. Like you do
Yes.
not need college to learn tech.
Agreed.
So after that, I started building websites for people at churches, friends. But I built my own websites for smaller companies I started like years ago. Like I had like a credit company.
Wow.
And I wanted to build a site where people could log in and see their credit scores and everything. I didn't want to have to pay for
Wow.
like a SaaS product. I didn't want to pay for
Wow.
SaaS. When I have to pay for SaaS, I get mad because I'm like, I could just make this. I don't want to pay monthly and you take my money every single month and I could just build it. So
I love that.
I built internal portals, learned how to do that. I used to go to the library. I had to wait, I didn't really want to be in the chemo stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
would just kind of leave them there, go and try to get my mind off of things, go to the library and learn, check out books that had to do with back-end
Wow.
development, database development, so I can learn different ways to optimize systems and software I was building at that time. But
Wow.
the real push into how I got in deeper and deeper into this space.
Yes.
So okay, he passes, and then I ended up getting a a lot of consultant roles and an opportunity to come on in fintech.
Okay.
I actually had a recruiter reach out to me on LinkedIn, looking at a lot of my skill set. I don't know if anyone knows. I know people are probably going to watch this, but you can
Mm-hmm.
actually take LinkedIn skill set courses. They'll actually help boost your chances of any contract work,
Really?
any full-time employment. Oh yeah, yeah, especially for tech. So all of my skill sets were set, they were there, and I had like a lot of people just start reaching out, reaching out, reaching out.
Wow.
But I in that moment I took on smaller things because I was working with a startup at the time. And this is
Hmm.
where I met you, Samela, with
Yes.
410 B&B.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, getting helping getting that off the ground, and then I actually left that startup. Learned a lot, but you know, some startups you already know how it goes. Sometimes
You
it
know,
go, and
we
sometimes
got it.
um.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely leaving and then working on other startups, and then getting into aviation. So I
Wow.
had a yeah, I ended up getting a NASA contract in Space Coast,
Come
Florida.
on, girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I tell you hidden
This is
figures,
why you have to turn your camera
yeah,
on.
like
We're going to, you have so many things that the people need to know is possible. I'm like
mhm.
ready to, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes, girl. Like, keep going.
So yeah, I had a NASA contract. So it's contracted between NASA and then this company called Satcom Direct, which enables NASA to have satellite communications, telecommunications while they're in the air, like airplanes,
Wow.
rockets, jets. So those terminals for satellites, they needed a lot of software work done, a lot of front end work done. So I was brought in to actually help a lot of that front end work. There's a satellite called Iridium 360, and I was actually a part of that initiative and effort putting that together.
Wow.
When that contract ended, I put my tech company as one of a like a government contractor. You can go on sam.gov. Anyone
Yes.
can do this. You do not have to be in tech
Yes.
to be a government
Yes.
contractor. You do not.
Yes. Yes.
As a matter of fact, you don't even really need a website. What you need is just
Yes.
a strong portfolio. But what they'll do is reach out to your references. They
Wow.
don't care. They want to know who have you worked with and
Okay.
what is that skill set. So got my sam.gov, my certification number. Now I'm in there.
Wow.
I'm good. So at
Mm.
that point, that's when projects come. That's when the molding, the growing, and being in, leading teams, delivering, not delivering, failing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some things just don't work.
Mm-hmm.
Going through, yeah, yeah. A lot of people, looks like a lot of wins, but there has been a lot of like non-wins,
Yes.
Um, so yeah. But in
That's
in the space that I am in now, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the experiences. I do believe that experiences do mold people, and
absolutely.
definitely prepare them,
Mm-hmm.
for better. So now, yeah, the four companies are they're doing great. Actually, two I have not launched yet.
Okay.
They're in the process of
Okay.
one's in the process of a patent, so I'm only going to discuss a little bit about it. And
Okay.
that's the one that you brought me on here today for, which is CocheVia.
Oh,
Um,
the name
yes,
in itself, CocheVia, it sounds very elite.
it is so elite. And yep, CocheVia fair. That is fair. It is a ride share, but we want to give fair to drivers. That's fair. We want to make sure fair for riders are fair.
Yes.
But the main like core problem that my tech company is trying to solve with this rideshare company is making sure that drivers and riders alike it gets back to the people. Right now we
Yes.
see rideshares trying to go to self-driving
Mm-hmm.
cars. They're trying to do all types of crazy stuff and actually kick out drivers who make a living, feed their families.
Yes.
They're actually working, and it kind of sucks because at any time their driver account could get shut down. And then what
Yes.
do they do?
Yes.
So with CocheVia, you actually like drivers, they don't become a CocheVia driver. We allow drivers to have their own transportation companies.
Ooh.
Um, and then they just use our platform to access rides. So
Ooh.
we're not, you're not a CocheVia driver. You are, you know, ABC Transportation LLC. You are not one of our drivers, which takes the
Ooh.
liability off of the fact that, you know,
This
all
is
the lawsuits
awesome.
and, you know, Uber and Lyft and all those things. So we kind of put the power back to the people, and we do have a POS system, almost like Square, that the
I
driver can
love it.
order and have and kind of control their transportation company.
Wow.
Yep. And
Ooh, I have so many questions. Okay, okay, okay.
okay,
Keep going,
question.
keep going.
Okay, so and I'll get to the rider side because it's a lot to digest. But I'm going to start with the driver side first. So you can ask any questions. But for the driver side, drivers will be able to, you know, be tipped in Bitcoin.
Okay,
So you
okay.
know they can decide
Very
if
much the
they
future. Yes.
very, very much so the future. And then there
And
are
right
going to
now,
be
actually.
ways where drivers and riders alike can earn crypto by riding. So
Oh,
yeah, there is some gamification types of capabilities to keep people on the platform, but it is a choice. So you're not going to be forced, you know, to using blockchain if you don't want to. We'll have just that Web3. We'll also have different ways where we can utilize AI for drivers, just ensuring that they get to their routes fast and safe,
wow.
and utilizing different networking capabilities that I cannot talk about right now because it is in a,
Okay, don't talk
I
about it.
have to lock that, I have
Don't
to
give
lock
the
that patent
IP
in,
away, girl. Don't give the
but I'm
IP away.
gonna drop a hint because it's not really,
Okay.
it's the idea, but like IP, intellectual property for software, you know, it's very complex. So just to say, like, if someone's gonna steal it, you gotta be a nerd, man. You gotta be on the computer like
Figuring it
24. So you gotta be
out.
like a senior programmer. But I can drop this hint though. For the networking capabilities, there is this large new networking internet company that and this will be announced, you know, in the months to come, that will be leveraging and utilizing to help bring drivers some real good accurate routes
Okay.
and you know, good
This is
things.
okay. 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 You just dropped so much information, but the yes, I'm excited because when you think about ride sharing, people automatically only think Uber,
Hmm.
Lyft, pick me up, drop me off, right?
Exactly.
But the fact that you are going the route of allowing people who already have transportation companies to then empower their experience and collect their own data and essentially be the owner of all of their information. Is this what we're saying?
This is what we're saying because you already know how it's going with the data and how data is sharing. And then a lot of times it's not as transparent on
Yeah.
how data is being shared. So yeah, these are one of those ways. And another thing, what it does, what CocheVia really, really does, it allows both rider and drivers alike to really step into the next phase of this modern age.
Okay.
um, and when we think about a self-driving car doesn't do much for a consumer, but you know, if I can earn while I ride, I can earn crypto. I can
Mhm.
convert that. I can go to another country and use that. If I have crypto rewards and I want to get a ride, or if I'm a driver in Europe, UK, and I come and I want to live in America, I can be a CocheVia driver.
Mhm.
I can have that blockchain, I can convert that. So it just keeps it to where it can actually go global, and it can allow people to have that um investment in in a sense. Like you ride and you invest. Like you're investing in yourself by taking a ride.
It's so many power plays there because not only are you empowering the gig economy to like have your own, like the actual economy, the gig worker who actually wants to start their own business, you're giving them the tools and the software to do it in a way that they can understand it, in a way that they can expand. And to your point, they can even invest in themselves across the globe.
Exactly. That's exactly what they can do. And
Wow.
yeah, like the transition to, because a lot of what I'm hearing now, people are moving overseas. People are leaving America. Like I see a lot of people moving to
Yeah,
Thailand and
yeah,
going to Central America, South America. And when you think about a modern age, a modern world, like as far as in the digital space, we come together online. We come together digitally with our technologies. So kind of future
absolutely.
forward thinking, if we can go ahead and be ahead of the curve and
Yes,
actually start to serve our users versus, okay, we're always selling them something. Every app you get on, there's a
yes.
shop. Everybody want to sell you
Yeah,
something. Every time you get
consumerism at its top tier. But what about empowering the people who want to start the
exactly,
business, who already have the business, but they might be
exactly.
struggling and they need help to push it forward. Oh my goodness, that's so, yeah, that's so timely from how I'm thinking about things
Mhm.
as well. But I think that you can only think about something like that when you've been on the side as an entrepreneur, when you've built something, when you know how
Yes.
hard it is to build something, when you realize, oh my goodness, if I would have had this tool or this piece of software or this
Mhm.
data point, I would have been able to do these things. And so you are allowing transportation providers, logistic. Ooh, I mean, I see an angle
I
for,
see
we'll talk
an
about.
angle for that. Definitely an angle for that. And then another
Yes,
thing too, Samela, what I wanted to say about the drivers is, you can manage your fleet. Let's say you have a
yes,
transportation company and you don't drive. You can sign up your drivers, you can add in your fleet, and you
yes.
can run a transportation company without being one of your own drivers.
That's
So
literally what I'm
yeah,
seeing. I see it. I
yeah.
see it.
It's
Ooh,
definitely a disruptor. It's going to be a disruptor and it's going to shift a lot of, politics. It's political. It's going to be political. And very soon to come, I will be going to city because literally just this month 20,000 Uber accounts were canceled in Chicago. That's 20,000 driver accounts canceled. And not to mention, think about the safety for women. On CocheVia, you can choose your driver if you want to be a woman or a man.
wow.
And not only that, transportation companies have to comply with their metropolitan area. If you have to have a commercial uh, type of transportation license or chauffeur license, you have to get that. You have to upload it on the
Mhm.
platform. So, and we'll have biometrics as well. So that person has to the driver has to scan their face periodically, even more than
Girl,
that. When they leave and to come get you, when they say that they have arrived, scan that face to make sure that that is the person who they provided on that identification coming to pick up that user. So it's going to make it very safe. I cannot tell you how many articles, stories I've seen on TikTok of women not being safe, harassed, kidnapped. I mean, you could just
it's,
I already know,
yeah,
but it is just like, how do we make this safe?
yeah,
How do we keep people accountable? Like even on
absolutely.
the user side, if you want to be on the platform on the user side, yes, you have to upload your ID as well. So we're not just going to say, oh, we're going to only penalize the driver. We're going to hold people accountable
Absolutely.
for any type of, disorderly conduct.
That's
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Uh, you, you're, you're so ahead of your time, but really you're ahead of their time, because you're right on time. Um, that's why you were called to do it. I am so excited to see how CocheVia is going to literally, like you said, disrupt some things because my mind is already moving. I already see some things happening, but this is literally only something that an expert can do. And somebody, people often think that they can hear you talking about it right now today and think that they can go and replicate it. But the thing about it is, babe, you can't crawl inside of my mind and think about all of the strategies and the ways in which this idea has been subconsciously cooking from 5 years ago, 7 years
Yes.
ago, and you are the visionary that's going to bring it to life. So you have to keep us updated, and I'm going to stay updated because we just need to schedule a call in general, just so that we
Yes.
can talk offline because I see it. I absolutely know. Anything you touch, you're going to just you're just going to make it do what it do. But how do you touch so many things and make it do what it do? Like, what is your motivation? What is your like? How do you make that happen?
That is a great, 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 great question. So I don't know if you probably heard this, no pain, no gain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, in everyone, has been through something, has gone through things. I think the best way to turn pain into anything is into gain. Don't look like what you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I mentioned my
Mm-hmm.
husband passing away, we actually had a son that passed away.
So
So a lot
good.
of
So
times,
good.
yeah, I had put on tunnel vision as a way to escape grief. Now, I'm not saying everyone
Mm-hmm.
should do that. That's not always healthy. Go seek counseling, do therapy, do everything that you
Go
need
see
to do.
somebody. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But I think it is, if you're ever in a space where you've lost someone or if you experience anything like that, it is very important to get around a group of really a good support system, but
Mm-hmm.
also really hone in on what you're good at.
Mm.
A lot of people discount self development. Like it's always good, to continue to keep working on yourself. No one's perfect, but even professional development and mastery.
Yes.
So a good
Mastery. Mastery.
mastery. Like you may be a great, producer, but you may not be the best singer. It's all about like knowing your role, like really honing in on your strengths, things that you're good at, and investing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in your knowledge, your education outside of a traditional school. I've done a lot of just different courses, online
Mm-hmm.
certifications, just to increase my learning in
Mm-hmm.
ways that I could, be a leader, but first be a follower and
Yes.
practice
Mm-hmm.
servant leadership, which I'm
Yes.
really big on. I used to always feel like I always had friends that were a little above my age, but I think that always helped because I listened.
Yes.
I'm coachable. I'm learnable. Even still to this day, I'm very interested in what other people are doing. Like, what are
Mm-hmm.
they, like I'm still curious a lot. But I think like when going through rough times, it's good to look at yourself and say, okay, you know what? I still have my life. My life isn't over. And I'm really good at this thing. And I'm really good at this. I actually really like doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and like really honing in on that and really enjoying that, and finding a love again for
Yes.
things. um
Yes.
so that keeps me, and of course I have a great assistant.
Yes.
He helps me.
Hello.
He keeps me on point and just kind of managing everything. And then too, having a coach, a career coach, a life coach,
Mm-hmm.
therapy, like
Mm-hmm.
any way you can soak up a support. That is a support. Therapy is a
Yes.
support. A life coach. A lot of people don't want to invest in life coaching. Invest in life
Yes.
coaching. It
Yes.
will change your life because your
Yes.
thoughts are very powerful. And sometimes you may sit up and think you don't have time and you scroll for 3 hours. You could have literally learned Python in 2 hours. There's a 2 hour Python course on YouTube. In
Wow.
2 hours from scrolling, you could have just at least built like a smart calculator, or you could have just did a little tiny project just to
Wow.
say, okay, you know what, I'm going to add this to my portfolio. It's a small project, it's the MVP. It's not really much, but it's okay. It's something that I've built and I'm practicing on it, and just continue to iterate on that, week
Right.
after week, month
Mm.
after month. But um the thought of just improving is
The
kept
thought of
me
them.
going, but not like in a point of success, not in a materialistic type of way.
Yes.
But when you find that you're in a space of just like, I want improve, okay, I'm going to learn, I'm going to, that passion for it, you're just going to attract everything. Everything's just literally going to come. But I feel like when you're
Absolutely.
in your pain or your struggle, your suffering, you need to use that. That
Yes.
yeah, that's, you suffer, no pain, no gain.
Yes.
Anybody that's there, no pain, no gain.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and investing too, like
Mm-hmm.
being broke, sacrificing, like actually where I'm at now, I never thought I would be there. I used to years ago sleep in my car, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like to really talk about it. I've been poor,
Mm-hmm.
now that I have a little something going on, but I know
A little several
how it is.
somethings.
I know how it is to be on both sides. So if I ever lost it all
Absolutely.
today, I can struggle. That bounce back comes from those struggles, those lessons. And when you can push yourself forward, you can know how to you'll be okay with failing.
Absolutely.
You'll be okay with it.
Yes, you dropped so many valuable gems because I agree with you. What kept coming to my mind when you said that is just like find your joy again and
Yep.
again. You just got to keep finding it again and again because I tell people all the time, life is going to punch you in your face.
Yes.
It's going to punch you in your side, in your rib, in your back, behind your neck, like all the things. But you're going to have to learn how to be a boxer unless
Yep.
you want to continue to get beat up. You got two choices. You got to
Exactly.
get beat up and say that you're a victim and life keep beating me up, or you got to learn how to swing back, move,
Oh
duck.
yeah.
Like you have to learn how to get back in the fight, get off the sideline, and stop shoulda, coulda, woulda, and just get back to living life. And then once you start finding those little pockets, you're like, oh. And then you're like, this what makes me happy. This what like I felt everything that you
Exactly.
said. I felt everything that you said, and I definitely, I get it. I absolutely get it because more recently, when you start being spirit led,
Yep. Yep.
you just gotta submit because you could be led down somewhere. You'd be like, why do you have me here? Because more recently, like last year, I was literally sleeping on friends and family. I gave up my apartment in Miami, gave up like thousands of dollars worth of stuff. I was living a cute life. I thought my life was cute, thanks
Right.
God. And then he's like, leave. And I'm like, wait, what? I slept on air mattresses and sofas for 183 days. But I did that. Most people thought it was crazy. Most people thought, give up, go get a job, all those things. But when you are operating from a place that you love,
Mm-hmm.
a thing that keeps you focused, all of that other stuff, like you don't,
Nope.
first of all, why would I turn back now? Why would I turn back
Exactly.
now? Let's talk about why would I turn back now when I had already left so many things behind. So there
Yep.
is no plan B. Plan A is the plan, and it's going to work. It'll be a different route to get to
Exactly.
plan A, but plan A is still going to work. And so you just continue to keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something to say about, and I don't want to skim past the part of grief, right? Because grief comes in different forms,
Mm-hmm.
and losing loved ones in I just want to acknowledge the fact that my heart goes out to you and to your entire family because that is something that has stopped people in their tracks and stopped
Yes.
people from living and
Mm-hmm.
stopped people from showing up for themselves. But then, as you mentioned before, you realize, well, God, you still have me here, so you must want something from me. You must want me to
Oh,
still do something.
absolutely. And I mean,
Mm,
just being in the bed for, couldn't get up, couldn't really function. And at the time, having my mother-in-law like come and, help me shower, and like I lost, like, I think the biggest thing, losing and then gaining again is God will, in your loss, in your brokenness, He will show up.
mm.
He will definitely show up. And a lot of times it feels, it's different. Like you said, it's different stages. There's that shock. And then there's that acceptance. And then it's just like, oh, I still don't accept. And these are a lot of things I talk about in my upcoming book. Yeah.
Listen, I was waiting on you to tell us the tea about the book.
The
Yes.
book
What?
is about this. It has nothing to do with tech,
It's
career.
but it's your life. It's your
It
life, and
it
you are
is
your life.
it is that, and it's also so the book is called A Griever's Guide to Glory.
A
Um
grievous guide to glory. Okay.
yeah, and
Mm,
it really deep dives into how to acknowledge that you're grieving.
yes.
Like, you're it's okay, there's depression, there's anxiety, there is grief is a thing. And a lot of times you may think, oh, I'm just going through this, or I'm no, you're still grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I had to learn that, like, slow down, you're still grieving even after 6 7 years, you're still grieving. Or you feel like you're
Yes.
having an anxiety attack. I never forget, I thought I was having an anxiety attack. I went to the hospital, they're like, oh, nothing's wrong, you know. And at the time, I was maybe like 2 years after the passing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lady knew, and she was like, just it's really just, you got a broken heart is a real thing.
It's a
Grief, a
it's a
broken
very
heart is a real thing. You may think you're having anxiety, panic, you're grieving.
you're
It's
grieving.
Yeah, and no, and it's really hard to identify what it is after a loss. I was talking to this with a friend, and she ended up losing someone that was like one of her really, really close cousins. And it could fit anybody you've ever had like a close interaction with. That loss, that part of you that
Yes.
remembers and times with that person, that part dies too.
Yes.
And you gotta, or your thoughts of, oh, what would have been the future, or your idea of how things would have turned out with that person, or future plans. You're grieving all of that. You're not just grieving the person, you're grieving that entire part of you that thought that you and that person were gonna,
Mm-hmm.
experience this, you were gonna see that person grow up, or all of
Mm-hmm.
those things. That's where the grief really happens. So the book just gets down into it. And I add in little excerpts about my experience, but most importantly, guide people into how to accept and deal with the grief. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and not from like a therapist standpoint. I'm not licensed or any clinician or psychologist in any
Do
way.
you like? But I do know that I need to put that disclaimer out there. You
Yes,
know, but you're speaking
exactly.
from experience, and I put something on my social media page that your scars should be somebody else's like roadmap or survival guide or something, and but it takes a brave and bold person to be able to do that. So thank you for even saying because it's almost like you're having to relive it again because now you have to document it and tell the story so that people can understand the steps and the guide. And so thank you for even like this is why you're so amazing and this is why everybody needs to know you, girl, because like there's no shortage of things that you can touch and make it happen because you're layered,
Hmm.
you're complex and but yet so beautiful, yet so relatable, right? And that is a gift that only God can give you. When you can have such a complex thing and make it sound normal, what would they say? Put it where the cows can eat it or something like that.
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
when you can do something that takes some stamina, the mind, the shifting, and then you allow somebody else to process it, that is a gift. And more people need you to gift them with your presence.
So yeah, and with your help, Smella, with the new, our call, hopefully I'll be ready to definitely do that. I definitely agree. It was hard writing. Like yeah, reliving everything again, crying, of course, and then um, I'm glad that I put just inside of the book. There's ways where you can reinvent yourself. Being a
Mhm.
phoenix, right? After, a phoenix in the ashes, you
Mhm.
can arise again and you can reinvent
Mhm.
yourself. You can grieve, yourself, your old self, you died too, a piece of you did. You can acknowledge all of those things and still reinvent yourself and yeah, find life again. So it does go
Absolutely,
into all of
absolutely.
that.
It's okay. So, for tech companies,
Yep.
Arthur, what other titles do you hold?
Um, that is, well, I've held out of my tech companies, I'm still the chief technology officer, only because I don't have a huge C-suite board,
Okay,
but I do wear a lot of hats. So
okay.
along with like chief product officer, just trying to align with the product's vision and road mapping and getting the product to a different stages of the development phase.
Mm-hmm,
And then I also put on the chief experience officer hat.
mm-hmm,
Being a front
mm-hmm,
end developer, having that strong UX background
mm-hmm,
actually helped me a ton.
mm-hmm.
Number one, that's where I've started, was front end. So when you think front end, you think all the visual things that you can see aside from like JavaScript and functional stuff that no one sees. They just click a
Right,
button and it works. But all
right.
the front end things, how the screen looks, how pretty the buttons are, and just how easy something is to use. The UX, the user experience, chief experience officer, I really hone in on that as well. But I am umbrella it all under CTO
Mm-hmm,
until I build out my C-suite board.
mm-hmm,
So that is something that I am continuing to do. I can't wait to just like open up the board, start inviting, brilliant minds, bringing everyone to the
mm-hmm.
table and really just strategizing and getting things where they need to be.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I'm super excited about that.
This is so exciting. So, okay, so tell me, how do you manage your time? Like, you made time to come on here, so we want to I have to absolutely thank you for making time to come on here because you have so many amazing things going on. How do you manage your time?
So my time is so crazy. Let's see. I get the most sleep on Sundays.
Okay,
Um, and I have teams that are offshore.
okay,
So Pakistan and India and Egypt.
okay.
So there are certain times where I have to be awake overnight of our
Mm-hmm,
time.
mm-hmm.
And then meetings during the day with either stakeholders that have a stake into the company, or if I'm giving any consulting with the startup or a company, I'm in meetings depending on what those days are. So I just try to sleep in between meetings,
You
eat in
gotta do
between.
what you
Like
need to do.
it is roller coastery. It is very like around the holiday time, December, January, kind of sometimes January.
Mm-hmm.
But December, November, I get a little free time
Okay,
where I'm able to kind of relax and just New Year's plans and quarter initiatives are already set out. So everyone is just all right, everybody, we're not doing anything. I'll see everybody next
right.
year. We're just
Right.
gonna
So
end
you
it.
have a rhythm. You
Yeah.
have your own rhythm that works for what you have. Because when you're called to it, it doesn't, it's not as chaotic as most people would think it is, right? I feel, is that how do you agree with that statement?
I totally agree. You do have to learn how to delegate. I had a problem with that because I was so used to being a doer that I
Mm-hmm.
needed to start being a thinker and
Mm-hmm.
a communicator. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, people think to, to have a business or anyone, like even a tech company. I tell a lot of women this all the time. You can have a tech company. You don't even know how to code. You know how to be a leader. You know
I
how to
don't know how to
communicate.
code. I
And
don't know how to code.
exactly, you can learn how to solve problems because at the end of the day, you can have your specialist, your programmer, your senior programmer, director of programming or engineering to handle that. Like you know how to find talent. You identify
Mm-hmm.
it and you know it. And that goes for any industry. Whether you want to open a salon and you don't do hair, you want to open a
Yep.
spa, you don't do nails, but you
Yes.
know how to get a building. You got great credit. Okay, you know how to
Mm-hmm.
run books. You're
Mm-hmm.
great at taxes and accounting, or you can go find an accountant. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
You can go get that done. You walk in, make sure everything's good, walk out.
Yeah. Really
Just
though,
show
that's
up.
real.
Yeah. So there's a model where I just try to make sure that I'm not always the doer so I don't get burnt out and that I know how to identify talent. I know how to identify people who can think on their feet, who can do, and also who play well with others.
Yeah.
Who's really a good team player, want to see everybody win. So I think the most important thing when not getting burned out is having good people, good
Yes.
workers, and people who understand your growth. So in the beginning of me starting everything, of course I didn't have a lot of money,
Of
right?
course.
I was bootstrapped, trying to do
Um,
everything, and like I did not. So I knew how to identify the right people that are willing to work with me until I get to that point, and they're still
Absolutely.
here and they love it, and
Wow.
we're good. But it's just kind of like finding those who understand your vision and y'all have a shared purpose. And even to this day, it's just been amazing to kind of like see the growth of something from like an idea actually be a concept and test it and all.
Wow.
But yeah, super excited about that. But I literally delegate, and then I also make it a thing too where like I still involve myself with my workers, people who do work for me, my team. I don't like, ghosts, or just like, hey, I believe for a good if you want a really solid company that delivers, and I mean, we're agile. I'm pretty sure most tech companies are agile. Like, it requires strong communication all the way from
Hmm.
C-suite down to junior programmer. Like,
Yes.
the communication has to be solid, and it has to be consistent. So I think that's just been a huge thing. So yeah,
Hmm.
the people will help you win. Yep. I
What,
tell my son, he's 12. I'm like, look, you'll make your first six figures by yourself, but you won't make millions until you work with other people. Because
that's real.
you can't do it by
That's
yourself. Nobody does it
real.
by themselves. Everybody's like, oh well, I'm self-made. And no, Jewish people come to, let me tell you something about these Jewish communities, different organizations, even just being in tech for all these years, no one is doing that themselves. They
Absolutely
are
not.
they are opening up the C-suite roles. They're giving out equity. Like, hey, you know what? I give you some equity. I have C-suite role. I see that you're a great leader. You know how to identify talent. You know about business. You have good business acumen. They're bringing people to the table. And when you can do that, when you're comfortable in not wanting it, oh, it's about me, or when you're really
Right.
comfortable about bringing people to the table, that's when it really starts to happen.
That is. Yes, I agree because 100% of something that's valued at zero versus 30, 60, 80, 20% of something that's valued
Mhm.
at $100, right? Like it's the value is going to only be greater when you include people who are brilliant at what they do that you cannot do, who are
Exactly.
brilliant, like allow them to get in position
Hmm.
to do the things. And most people think that micromanagement is like power, but really
No.
great leadership is
Hmm.
power. Being able to communicate and trust that people can do
Hmm.
it is power
Hmm.
because you are empowering people to do what they do best so that you can go do what you do best. And then everybody wins because everybody's doing what they can do at their top level.
Exactly.
Like it's it's wild, and I agree with you. I told you one of the things that I'm realizing is I can't climb by myself. Like my role in this is to demystify the idea that it's lonely at the top.
Oh,
It's not
yes.
lonely at the top. It only
Hmm.
seems lonely at the top when you put your head down
Hmm.
and you don't work with anybody and you don't build with anybody. And by the time you climb to the top, quote unquote, arrive, you don't know anybody up there because you was working with your head down and you left all your other people down there. And so
Exactly.
that's why it's lonely at the top. So let's not say that because that's from a perspective that is skewed. But the perspective that I want is us climbing to the top together.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anything else is crazy.
Hmm. It is. Rome wasn't built in one day, and it wasn't built by one person.
It's not.
So yeah.
It's not. You can't
Hmm.
say you're building $1 billion business, $1 million business, a multi generational business, an impact business, and think that you're going to do it all by yourself.
Exactly. And you don't want to. Like, you shouldn't have to want to do it by yourself. Like, I used to have the mentality years ago about that, but oh no. Nope. That's all gonna lead to burnout. It's going to lead to a ton of imposter syndrome because you're trying to wear too many
Mhm.
hats you're not fit for.
Mhm.
You're going to find a
Mhm.
lot instead of just bringing in experts, bringing in people and being good at what you do, being good
Yeah.
at what you know. So it is, yeah, it's just not going to work that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so before we close, because I would listen, we could just talk all day, and we are
We
going
could.
to we are going to do our own side note, but where would you like the people to connect with you at? Like, what, where should they come and find you at?
So, if you do have my IG already, you can find me there. I am on LinkedIn, but it's at Morgan Shuler. If you ever wanted to email me for any collaborations, my email is morgan.schuler@taplix.tech, or you can use morgan.schuler@cochevia.com. But yeah, those are the two ways. Or you could just DM me. I'm totally reachable. I'm not one of those type of people like, oh, I'm reachable. No, I write back. I'm super reachable, approachable, all that stuff.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And before we leave, I always ask people two questions. Why? Because Block is all about
Mhm.
traveling. And most people think that traveling is only like getting on a flight, but traveling is like transformation, like your mind.
Yes.
Like your
Oh
mind
yeah.
could go somewhere else, and that is a form of traveling.
Mhm.
But why would you say that more people should travel?
More people should definitely travel for a different experience. To increase, I guess, cultural awareness. So, and
Mhm.
I say that too, Samela. I am from Tennessee. I grew up in Tennessee. And let me tell you, like, when I came to Florida, I had a cultural shock.
It's real.
It got
It's
real.
real.
Like, I imagine being the one always being pointed out because, your color of skin, like, oh, okay, I've always stood out, but to blend in and also to learn differently from yourself, like different cultures.
Hmm.
Um, and then too, mental health. It's good
Hmm.
to get away.
Yes.
Sometimes it's good to get away, different scenery. It helps you think sharper. You're able to decompress. So yeah, I think traveling is honestly the most intelligent and smartest thing to do. Which
Literally.
I'm definitely going to be traveling this year. Like I can't. Mm-mm.
And I'm saying the same thing. I'm ready to travel and go places, but it's so much in New York that I just have not even
New York
processed
is
yet.
so.
So I'm just gonna be some of the traveling gonna be traveling on the
I
train
know
to
that's
somewhere
fine.
else.
Traveling to the food places.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so home sharing or hotels?
Okay, hotels.
Of course. Tell us why.
So, and I probably need to stop watching these type of TikToks, but like hidden camera or secret door compartment or I'm scaredy cat. And then I also want to know that the bathroom is really clean.
Yes,
Did you really change them sheets?
yes, yes,
Like, is the dishes
yes,
really washed? Everybody don't clean like everybody else.
yes.
And then I know, like, if I have room service and all that, like, I can, I'm not gonna say complain, but I can kind of put in a request and they'll,
Hmm.
but being in someone else's space, that's kind of their space. I respect that. I respect how everybody live, but um definitely hotel. And I kind of feel a little like offy by saying it because I just recently went into like a timeshare business and it's condos. I still haven't even been to one of them yet. I'll be doing that. I have some in Cancun and Mexico. And we can have another talk
So
about that
funny.
too. I want to talk to you about that.
Yes,
Maybe there's
we
different
must.
things we can get on, but yeah, it's
We must.
hotels.
I So that is my background, hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of luxuriating in hotels. But if I'm traveling with a group, home sharing is the option, of course, but all those things are concerning. Cleanliness is just important, you know, at a hotel, at somebody's house. It's just extremely important. And then having the idea of service. at your fingertips is like an easy yes.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds so spoiled. But
No, that's real.
so
No,
no, you know,
that's real.
I've never been on a group trip. So maybe it's just that experience that I haven't had yet. Like, because I actually had a friend that recently went on a like retreat. It was for like couples. They actually stayed at a nice house. It was big. Everybody had, you know, like their space, their corners. So I'm up for trying it. I'm adventurous
Yes,
or what.
yes.
I
Okay,
just
we
bring
got to
some
do some
washing
things.
powder.
Exactly. But them TikToks do be like traumatizing
Yeah,
people. Like, but you know, that's like life. One person experience
that's true.
does not automatically dictate somebody else's experience, right? Like, so, but I do agree. It is like, I'm gonna keep an extra eye on that.
Hmm.
And so those are all the things that we have to be focused on as we think about introducing home exchange to the Black and Brown community who's pretty much unaware of it altogether, while other people have been leveraging it as a travel hack for years. Like the movie The Holiday, which was made in like the 90s, is literally about home exchange. So
Mm.
there is, challenges there, but there's such a great opportunity that getting it right could be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Airbnb of home exchange. So that's our focus. That's our goal. But you're correct. There's some things that we're up against, but I'm confident that God called me to it. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do what I need to do, and then
I've
everything else will
actually
fall in place.
never heard of that concept. So now that you've explained it and broke it down like that, that actually is a really good idea. Like home exchange, like
Yes.
for
You could
travel.
think Airbnb minus the lodging fee, essentially, right? Because you are staying at
Mm.
someone else's home. Block is a membership. You have to be a member.
Okay.
And then once you are a member, you swap homes with other members. Hey, I'm going to be in Brooklyn. Next week, Samela, is your place available? Actually, it is because I'm going to be traveling to Memphis, So yes, you can stay
Oh.
at my place. And the idea there is that we don't just travel, we meet people there, right? And so now you're like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm staying at my homegirl Samela house when I get to Brooklyn, right? Like, and now people are like, how many homegirls you got? Like, well, how you know all these people? But really, it's because you're in a membership, a home exchange membership, and you guys are swapping homes. And yeah, I'm excited about the challenge, but it's
No, that is really good for like social building and gaining a network.
Mhm.
Actually, it's almost like a social community in a way,
Yes,
more than just lodging. So that is
very much
actually
so.
a big thing. Remote
Very much
workers
so.
would love
That
that. Eat that right on up because you're at home all day
Yep,
and
that is my
change of
demo.
scenery,
Remote
change of scenery.
workers and creative entrepreneurs. Anybody who can essentially work from their laptop
Mhm.
is our ideal audience. So yeah, but we'll talk offline, girl. I am so happy. This is such an amazing conversation. We need to get something on the books just for you and I to talk. And thank you so much for
Thank you,
making
Samela, for
time
having me.
in your busy schedule to make this happen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, ma'am. And we'll definitely discuss.
Yes, and this is a beautiful way to wrap up Women's History Month. So thank you for
Yes.
being a woman who's just killing it, just literally showing up, making it happen, wearing different hats, showing a different perspective, something that you don't see or hear as often as we need to, because you guys exist. And when I say you guys, I'm talking about like being able to code. That's not my lane. That's not, I don't, I have a vision. That's all I got that. But I need to put it in somebody else's hand. I have to be able to trust somebody else to bring it to life. And so the fact that you are so forward thinking, the fact that you are touching so many things and you're doing it in a way that moves the needle and serve people and let them know that they can be equally as great is
Oh, yeah.
extremely inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And Samel, you like, girl, you are out here killing it. Like I said, women, honestly don't know where the world would be without us.
No, I mean,
We do
nowhere
so many
really.
things. We wear so many hats. We do it all. So, it's really just in us and not on us. It's in us.
That's really it. It's in us and not on us,
Hmm.
right? Like it's just about how we show up. And
Yep.
like you said, don't look like what you've been through
Yep.
because we all going through something. Everybody
Oh,
going through something. That's not the
absolutely.
question. The question is, do I want to look like what I'm going through?
Exactly.
And I don't choose to look like what I'm going through.
Yep.
Well, Meg, thank you so much. We will talk soon. And thank you for coming on Word on the Block.
Thank you for having me, Word on the Block.
Bye.
Bye.